When we're talking about branding, it is so much more than your logo and colors. It really dives into so many other areas. And today we're going to be covering a little bit more of that so that you can keep adding and stacking onto your beautiful handmade artisan brand. My name's Lena and I'm the very proud owner of madeit.com.au, where we have over 900 artisans selling through the platform. But so much more than that, we're a collective of like minds, and we really believe in setting you up for success, not only with a great platform, but through learning and connection so that you can really start to see those wonderful consistent sales coming through to support you in your handmade artisan business. So this is a bit of a continuation from the video that I shared last week, which is about branding and colors and really getting some words and some emotion behind it to understand your brand positioning. But I think maybe something that I hadn't covered properly was really to share with you the idea that branding is so much more than your logo. It's so much more than your colors. It's a complete experience. One of the tools and ideas, I guess, that I really love, it talks about if you saw your brand walking down the street towards you, what is it and who is it that you would see? Now, of course, I think you might possibly saying, well, of course you'd see me, right? I'm the artisan, that's the brand. But it's about really looking into all aspects of this and going, well, what's the connection that would happen when you meet with someone else? What's their feelings? What's their emotions? And really being able to kind of encapsulate that into a very full and whole brand positioning. Now, just a heads up, my little puppy Ted is destroying a little brush in the background, which I'm letting him go for it. Sometimes you got to pick your battles, but if you hear weird crunching, that's what it is. But so let's start talking about and thinking about this with you. Have you really started to think about how your brand actually shows up? And when I say your brand, of course, I mean you. And one of the key areas that I think it's really important to think about is the language that you use, and also, I guess, the types of values that really come true and come through into everything that you do. So when we're talking about language, the really important part to remember is that when we talk about brand, it's all about who your customer is. So before you're able to really dive into your own brand, you need to get a really strong understanding of who is your customer. And often that can be different to who your product is suited to. So as an example, if you're making baby products as an example, the baby isn't your customer, right? It's actually, the mum, the grandma, the auntie. And even in that, there's nuances that it's really important that you start to think about, because it may not be all of those people, right? It may be specifically mums, because if we're talking about how a mother would buy for their baby, it's very different to how a grandmother or a friend would buy for that baby. You can see that subtle sort of difference. So when we talk about language, the art of branding is that you want it to feel really familiar and relatable. So it means that when you've got that customer avatar, which is what we're talking about when we say, who is your ideal customer, right? And being able to really map it down and go, well, if I was having a conversation with my ideal customer, what would I be saying? What is the language that I would be using? And what are the, I guess, stories that I'd be referencing that would make it really easy for my customer to be able to relate to me and to what I'm creating, and to really bring that into one piece? So that's the first part of really understanding that language, and about getting those, I guess, same like points. Is it talking about particular travels? Is it talking about particular locations? Is it talking about particular experiences? If you were doing some sort of homewares, but it was perhaps picnic wear as an example, it would be about bringing in those stories of picnics that you might do with the family perhaps, or are they romantic picnics? You can see how all of these little aspects are like dropping little crumbs into how you can really form your brand. Now, the other aspect that I spoke about was really ensuring that your values come through strongly as a brand, because it's in our values that there is that familiarity as well. And it's where I like to be able to use that idea of coming up with those words and really kind of plotting them out about what are all the different aspects of my ideal customer. Is some of the things that they might value, is it family? Is it kindness? Is it generosity? Is it empathy? All of these different words will really map out depending on who your customer is and what it is that they're buying from you. There's kind of like a sweet spot where they sort of go and flow together as well. So now that we've just started this idea, right, I want you to grab your handmade notebook and take the opportunity to start writing down as many ideas that you have about who your ideal customer is, what their values are, and start thinking about, well, how can I start to thread this through into everything that I do? And that's where we start to get that complete whole picture of you as a brand. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did, or maybe even share it with a friend. But I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad you're here right to the end, and have a beautiful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.